All right, guys, today we're talking about my fitness journey and how I went from being ripped to becoming an ultra runner.
That one is huge.
All right, everyone, thanks so much for joining me today. Today I'm talking about my fitness journey. Before I get started, be sure to like and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button for me. It really helps me out, helps the channel out a lot. I've got a variety of videos, all sorts of different things, so be sure to tune in for those. I'll try to get you videos as recurring and as often as I possibly can. But today we're talking about my fitness journey and how I went from being ripped to becoming an ultra runner. So just to give you a background on me and give you some insight as to how I became a runner, what some of my background and past is like in fitness. I'll kind of skip over some of that high school stuff. I did play basketball in high school and was fairly in shape and active in high school and things like that. But I think it really started as I got into college. As I got into college, as I got married specifically, that's when I really started to gain more weight and, wasn't happy with, my level of activity in my own life. And so for me, I went through kind of a few different phases of trying to diet and things like that. But eventually, was able to sustain a more active lifestyle. Started working out, and that was kind of my initial go-to of way to stay in shape and to stay active. So was in the gym pretty often initially, and then eventually was in the gym 6 days a week. So did that for a while, several years. I did that and just enjoyed working out, having fun, continued to play basketball, pickup games, things like that, that I enjoyed to stay in shape, and obviously tried to eat as healthy as I could. Not the best diet most of the time, but one of the things that I wanted to do several years ago as I was approaching my 30th birthday is I wanted to just see what I could do. What is it that I could push my body to do and to become? And so I had kind of set my sights on doing what's called a physique competition. It's a class or a level in bodybuilding shows, not like the big, huge, ripped guys that you would generally think of in bodybuilding. It's more kind of a trimmed down, lightweight type of bodybuilding, one that you can really achieve in a few years, not something that you would have to dedicate 10, 15, 20 years and eat, thousands and thousands of calories to gain that kind of size. So decided that I was going to enter a physique competition. Started training for that, eating more healthy, exercising twice a day. I did do some cardio as part of that, just to kind of shred off some of the fat, so that I could be ready for the day of the show. And I'll show you some pictures, but I was in pretty good shape during that time. One thing that I definitely want to mention as part of this is the level of shape that I was in, or the way that I looked during the time of that physique competition is not sustainable at all. Something that I really, the pictures that you'll see, I really only looked like that for a few days. Because I was, cutting water and, monitoring my calories and doing low carb stuff and all sorts of stuff. Lots of supplements, mostly safe supplements, nothing like steroids or anything along those lines. It was carnitine, it was protein, it was, that kind of stuff. A few fat burners, just over the counter type fat burner type stuff. So did a few of those as I was preparing for the actual show. But again, the level that I was at, where you'll see the pictures here in the video, I was really only there for a few days. Something that just really is not sustainable, to see, shredded abs and that sort of stuff. Hey, one more thing that I forgot to mention. I was actually featured in a bodybuilding.com article. So I will link that article down in the description of this video if you want to check that out. Kind of a neat thing for me to be able to be featured there. So if you want to check that out, again, that's down in the description. I think my body fat percentage was down around the 4 to 5% range. I don't exactly know. I measured my body fat about 10 days out from the competition. My wife, who at the time was a personal trainer, did one of the caliper tests on me, and I think I was in the 6.5% range, and then shredded even more body fat before the competition. So that's just to give you a sense of what I was at, and again, something that certainly is not sustainable. So did that and continued to do the workout thing, and did that for several years. And the way that I got into running, it was kind of a really strange way, in my opinion. But I had some friends that challenged me to do a Spartan. I believe it wasn't the sprint, it wasn't the shorter one, it was the middle one. I can't remember the name of it now, but it was like 8 miles, but lots of obstacles and things like that. And so to get into better cardio shape for that, I decided that I needed to start doing some running. So started with about 3 miles or so, and gradually worked my way up to 5, and then a couple times a week I would do like 6.5 miles. So did that for a while, and did that Spartan, and wasn't quite my thing. I didn't love the obstacles, but what I found out as I did that is I thought it was kind of fun to do some of the trail running and running through washes and up and down hills and mountains and things like that. So decided I was going to kind of take up running a little bit more, and kind of rolled that into a half marathon, which I had never done. I'd done a couple of 5Ks, really kind of out of shape, just kind of struggled through a couple of local 5Ks. So decided that I was going to sign up for a half marathon and kind of check that off my list of things that I wanted to do in my life. So started training for that half marathon, and finished it. My goal was to finish in under 2 hours, and I just barely eked in. I think my official time on the half marathon that I did was 1:59:50. So did that, and then decided that I really enjoyed this running thing, and so started rolling that into longer distances, and eventually learned more about ultra running. And what that was, and that there were people that were running 50 miles and 100 miles and sometimes even longer distances than that, and just saw these people as superhuman, and again started to question in my mind, what is it that I am capable of? What can my body do? And so decided that I was going to work my way into doing ultra races, ultra running. So did a couple of marathons. My first marathon was a trail marathon with 5,000 feet of elevation gain here in Utah. It actually just took place, I think, last weekend, the second version of it. So did that last year. And then in February, I did the Black Canyon Ultra. I did the 60K. So about 37 miles, 37 and a half, something like that. So was able to do that. Did a road marathon as well. The road marathon that I did was the Escalante Canyons Marathon. So if you know anything about that, there's a lot of terrain involved in it. It is all on the roads, but it's about 2,500 feet of elevation gain. And there's 1 mile in there in particular that has like 800 feet of elevation gain in 1 mile. So not for most people, that kind of vertical in a road marathon is not super runnable. So it was definitely a grueling thing for me. Finished in just under 4.5 hours, but really loved that. So have been working my way into more ultra distances. Some of my goals for the future, looking for a fall race right now to do in probably the 50-mile range, maybe a 50K if it's something that's more, has more vertical things like that. So that's just kind of been my fitness journey, and where I'm at and how I got to be where I am today. Currently, I'm running 6 days a week and do about 50 miles a week on average. Saturday is usually my big day in the mountains, where I run anywhere from 16 to 20, 22 miles on the trails, usually at higher elevation here in Utah. So generally, somewhere between 8 and 10,000 feet. Usually get somewhere between 3 and 5,000 feet of elevation gain. So I'm still working on that mountain running and building that up. This is really I would say it's my 3rd or 4th year of running, seriously and actually, setting goals and working towards those kind of things. And as far as trail running, this is my 2nd summer in Utah. So really trying to kind of, push along that curve and get better each day, and especially in the summer when I've got that window of time where I don't have to worry about snow and I can get into the mountains. So doing that currently. So that's just a bit of a background on me and my fitness journey, and hopefully you guys appreciate and enjoy this video. And again, I'll roll some videos and some photos of some of the things that I've done from running and from my previous days when I was working out and more into gym fitness and the appearance of my body. So hope you guys enjoy the video today. Again, be sure to like and subscribe. Really helps out the channel a lot. Thanks so much, and be sure to run slow to run fast.